Hey guys, how are ya? Excuse me. It's Max Powers. Surprise, surprise. And I am I'm in a national forest on my way back north. Got a few more stops to make. This is the stop I made after the Georgia Guidestones. Now that's more so I know where to put it in than anything else. The place I was supposed to stay after the Georgia Guidestones, there were great recommendations. There was this, there was that. First come, first served. It was a Corps of Engineers site. I got there and it was closed. I looked on a map and I was only maybe 60 miles from this spot. So I continued on and I came here. I've been here before. This is one of my top 10. It's higher than that. It's like my top 3. One of my top 3 go-to camping spots where if I could live here, I would. I'll put the name in the description. Isn't it awful that I don't? I know it starts with van, it ends with gorge, but it's not gorge. It's another word like that. Anyway, it's an awesome spot. So I pulled in. Camp host remembered me, which is kind of humorous. When camp hosts, 1,000 miles from where you live, start to recognize you and remember you. But pulled in, set up. It's way too late to be eating dinner, but I made some dinner, had some dinner, and I sat by the fire right here, my favorite little wooden chair. And I was sipping the rest of my wine from dinner, hanging out, watching the fire, and something hit me square in the chest, like right here, to the point I thought it went down inside my jacket. There's probably all kinds of noise because the microphone is over here as I do that. And lots of things went through my mind. I'm in the woods. There's just miles and miles of woods. I know there's a trail up here. I take it when I stay here. It goes out to another. This is the campground. There's a campground up there, and there's picnic areas and a lake and all kinds of stuff. But it's down the road that way. You can hear that we're close to a mountain road. You can hear motorcycles going by, cars going by. But we are in a river valley, steep edges. It's an awesome spot. But I'm sitting here and a pine cone hit my chest. I'm thinking about how much woods is all around. And I'm no longer with a group of Bigfooters who would get excited and run in the woods. It's just me. So I have to think reasonably and rationally and try and figure out what just happened. Up above me are these magnificent hemlock trees. I'm assuming where they're a fir tree, right? They're a conifer. They have pine cones. It's entirely possible something fell out of one of those trees and just happened to hit me in the chest. So many different of these trees above me. It's probably what happened. But the fact that I'm now alone in the woods, and there's this steep slope up here, and then it continues down over here. I don't think you can make it out behind me, but it's I a ton of rhododendron or mountain laurel or whatever you want to call them, which is thick cover and evergreen. But to go out with a bunch of Bigfooters is one thing. To start not necessarily experiencing things, but to start running the same possible activity through your head when you're alone is a whole nother thing. So I'm at this site. Gonna hang out here for a few days. I'm waiting to hook up with a couple other Bigfooters. And I just, thought I'd tell you how scared I am right now. Gonna let this fire die down a bit, finish my glass of wine. Rooftop tent is all set up. Gonna climb up in there. I've got a jacket on, I've got my North Face wind resistant fleece, and I need it tonight. And that is such a nice thing after being down in Florida. Nothing wrong with Florida. The swamps were awesome. The wildlife was awesome. The activity that we got was awesome. But to be back in mountains where it's going to be cold tonight, or at least cool, by my standards, cold by all the people down in Florida's standards. And I'm pretty excited about it. I zipped my 2 sleeping bags together. I'm all set for like a nice cold night. And I'll let you know if I get any more activity. I'm going to run a recorder. These batteries don't last long, so we'll see what I get. But if I capture anything, maybe even if I don't, I will put a video up with that audio in there. So anyway, once again, I'm long-winded with nothing to say. So I'm going to go to bed once this fire dies out, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, so had a great night's sleep. I slept way too long. I was in bed maybe around midnight, and I slept straight through till 8 o'clock this morning. That has not happened in a very long time. I'm showing you where I was sitting last night. I was actually sitting there finishing my my pot of coffee when I realized I never found the alleged pine cone from last night. It was not in my jacket. I went up and I changed my clothes, when I was going to bed. No pine cone to be found. I just went up there and looked all around to make sure it didn't drop out in, like, next to the sleeping bag, down in the cracks around the mattress. As we look, let's see, up there, you can see pine cones all around. They're fairly good-sized pine cones, 3 to 4 inches, some of them bigger than that. I don't see any of the tiny pine cones, which is what I thought it might be. I'm just going to try and do this. I'm sorry it's so shaky. Matt from Central Florida Bigfoot just shut it off because it is too shaky. He tried to give me a gimbal, and I couldn't figure it out. So he was just like, yeah, okay. Do what you gotta do, kid. But all around me, there are all around that chair, pardon, you're probably getting seasick, and I apologize. And I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot that did this, right? I'm just saying that something hit me in the chest. I thought it might be a pine cone. I looked up. I'll scroll up slowly. This is my messy campsite. hemlocks, white pines, few other trees. But let's say they're oak, let's say they're something else. You know, so I'm sitting under a lot of trees and I just last night assumed that it was a pine cone. Because of what's above me. Maybe there are some oak trees, I don't think so. Are there nut-bearing trees? I don't know. But something hit me square in the chest. And as we look around, you know, there are little sticks. There's gravel. Been hit by gravel before, or at least my tent has. But I don't see any pine cones around my chair. I mean, I'm trying to think. The nearest one is, you know, they're over here. Where are they? Sorry about all this spinning. The nearest pine cones are over here. They're fairly large. That big one in the middle of the screen is probably over 6 inches. That one right there. Couple of things. I think by the firelight I would have caught the glimmer as it bounced off because it's directly in front of me. I think it would have been a different feel if it hit me. This felt like a small... I was looking for those tiny little pine cones. These are big pine cones. Are these white pine cones? I think they are. They may be. You know, I don't know enough about hemlock trees other than they're really kind of cool. But both hemlock and white pine around here. This is the area that I'm in. It's just amazing. Little morning fog. Rhododendrons reminds me of the area I grew up in, especially with the big white pines and the rhododendrons around them. But yeah, there's just no sign of anything that hit me. So what did hit me is my next question, which, you know, just gets bizarre. Ooh, spinning too fast. Sorry, guys. Just gets a little bizarre. There's my pile of kindling. There's my pile of firewood. I used that Tupperware lid to fan my flames. But while I was sitting here in this chair, something hit me in the chest, and I can't find it. Was it a piece of gravel? If it was a piece of gravel, that changes everything. Unless someone was climbing trees and put a piece of gravel in, you know, the branch of a tree and a breeze came along and knocked it out, it hit me in the chest. I doubt that. Was it perhaps like one of these small sticks? Maybe. But once again, if branches fall, it's not going to be a branch like that broken on both ends. So, what hit me in the chest? You know, here's, oh, I can see it. I don't think you can. There it is. A tiny piece of charcoal, but they're scattered throughout. I hate when camps do that, by the way, take all the charcoal out of the fire, because charcoal is an awesome fire starter. So this is probably what happened to someone cleaned out the fireplace and it dropped out of the wheelbarrow or whatever. So, once again, I've taken about 7 minutes to say absolutely nothing other than the fact that something hit me in the chest. I assumed a pine cone because of all the trees around. Now you know what a mess my campsite is. But I assumed it was a pine cone. I cannot find a pine cone, which leaves us to a small stick, which would be a projectile, or a piece of gravel, which would be a projectile. And launching those things would require opposable thumbs. So, is someone at the campground messing with me. The place is practically empty, which I can't believe because it's an awesome spot. Or was it something else? I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, guys, just one last sidebar on this. I'll try and keep it short. That's the neighbor's dog. They're on the other side of the campsite. You're going to hear someone's chopping wood down there. You'll hear that come in too. I said that I would leave an audio recorder overnight. I set it up. I did a sound check. And then I went to sleep. Woke up this morning. The recorder had run out of battery and shut itself off. Charged the battery. Hooked it up to power anyway. And took a listen. There's absolutely no audio whatsoever. So the audio recorder was on for whatever. It's about 2 hours of battery life. And didn't record one thing. Not even me, rustling as I was getting ready to sleep. So there's a car driving by. Is it an equipment malfunction? Quite possibly. I am not the most technical person around. Is it something else? Maybe. I make a lot of references in older videos about March 8th of last year and the bizarre stuff that happened. One of the key elements was when I was near the truck in the parking lot, the audio was working. As I walked through the woods, the audio was not. All kinds of bizarre stuff happened. I got back to the truck and the audio was mysteriously working again. I didn't unplug anything. I didn't move anything. There was nothing different that I did. That was lunchtime. I went back out in the woods. Guess what happened? The audio didn't work again. More cars. Everybody's congregating over there. I don't know what the deal is. Anyway, the audio didn't work. I'm telling you that so if you hear things in the background, you know. But the audio didn't work when I went back in the woods. When I got back to the truck, the audio was working again. Someday I'm going to edit that and put it up and tell you all the bizarre things that happened. The only person I think I've told is GPE. And I haven't finished telling him the story. It was through an email. But I will tell you guys, I will put that up. I've got just a ton of stuff to put up here, and I understand that. And I'm sorry everyone's still waiting. But yeah, no audio whatsoever was captured last night. But the battery on the recorder was dead. I believe it's dead because it ran and tried to record. It did not record. Is that because of technical malfunction, or is that because of something else? I'm not entirely sure. That's all I've got to say about that. Ouch. Shit. Ow. Things I do for you guys. Oh, is this thing on?